Hey everyone, it's Evan.
Wow.
Got another streak of doing the intros. Greg is lost in the grass somewhere.
Okay, Kentucky Blue, yeah.
Real quick, the expo's coming. Use the promo code TurfNerds, and don't forget, Ezra McCarthy over at Green Frog Web Design.
That's pretty neat.
A single-page website, $99 a month. Tell him the Turf Nerd sent you, because Greg is legit scalping lawns. Enjoy the show.
Hey, it's Aaron with the Mowing in the Dark Lawn Care Podcast.
Hey, this is Tony's Lawn Care Talk.
Hey guys, Cameron here with the Lawn Care Life in Missouri.
Hey guys, this is Dan White with Lawn Care Unscripted.
What up guys, it's Phil with Phil's Lawn Care.
And you're listening to the Turf Nerds.
Greg.
Okay, take two, Greg. I hope this works. If I'm cutting out, then let me know. Anyways, we've migrated over to Zoom, Greg, and we want to start kind of a new series on the podcast here. I've had a couple guys reach out, and the series, it's going to be once a month. If you guys actually want to be part of it, send me an email like what Pat did. It's called From the Field, Real Lawn Care Talk, and we're going to dive into your guys' businesses, and that's what the show is really all about, Greg, just being real.
Yeah, we want to have opportunities to bring guys on, talk a little bit about, find a little bit about your successes, your failures, see how you've grown through your career and the opportunities that have come your way, just almost by happy accident. So any of those kind of things that come up for us, those are opportunities that we'd like to have to be able to talk with people.
And we have a special guest, Pat Ferry, on the podcast. He's been running a landscaping business for 17 years. So, Pat, welcome to the show.
Thank you guys for having me on the podcast.
Thanks for joining us, Pat. Pat, where are you from?
Yeah.
So I'm originally from Downingtown, Pennsylvania. It's about an hour away from Philly. I moved up north in Phoenixville, so I'm like 30 minutes away from my actual shop location in Downingtown, where my business is actually located, but the actual business office is in Phoenixville. So if that helps you out.
Okay. Well, how far is that from Malvern?
Malvern?
PA.
I'm literally in Phoenixville. It's like 15 minutes away and 15 minutes away from Downingtown. So I'm right next to 29 where I live right now. And that goes through the heart of Malvern.
Okay.
So yeah.
I used to work for a company out in Malvern there. So
what company?
It was a pharmaceutical company, Centocor.
Okay.
So
yeah.
Greg, I never knew that you worked out in Pennsylvania there. I know you did pharma, but I didn't know that.
No, I didn't. The company was out of Malvern, and I was still here. So it's like when we had the guy on a couple weeks ago talking about Wisconsin. Company I worked out of, the home office was out of Wisconsin. So I kind of get around, but don't go anywhere.
There you go. It's all good.
So, Pat, when you reached out to me, you had a compelling story. You said you've been doing landscaping or have a business for 17 years, and kind of want you to tell your story because you've overcame some stuff in your life too. And the one good thing about the show is Greg and I, we don't just talk about the successes. We talk about the internal struggles and what we even face day to day and our issues and problem too, and how we overcome. So it kind of hop into like what got you in the green industry.
So backing up years before I even got into that, I have a reading disability. My mom has epilepsy, and she had a seizure when she was in, I think, the third trimester with me, like 7 months pregnant. And
she wasn't 10 months pregnant, right?
No, she was not 10 months pregnant.
You have to pray know this one. Well, get this, guys. Hannah, she was like 10 months pregnant. They said her. Anyways.
So I'm sorry, Pat. I can't pass those opportunities up.
You have to have jokes. Like life, you can't. You have to go joking all the time. So she fell unconscious, and she regained consciousness. And I was born like premature, but later on in my elementary school, there's really big deficits of I couldn't read a book, and they did testing where they actually found that the brain connection of your reading comprehension is not there in my brain, where most people you can. When you look at a piece of paper, I see some words because I got them trained when I was going through school and stuff like that. And fast forward, I went to vocational school for horticulture. I was going to go for security and fire science because I wanted to be a career firefighter. Obviously, that didn't work out. I graduated in 2007, started working for a township, and I was like, this is not for me because I'm not the boss. I don't like answering to people, kind of. Exception of my wife.
That's funny. You're a good man, Pat.
I try.
Nice recovery.
So I started PF Landscaping in 2008, part-time. And I was still working at the township, and I actually got hurt at the township because there's old school Chevys with the little flip window for the AC that you have to flip open. I actually put my wrist through it, and I actually cut pretty deep into the wrist, and my boss called me an idiot. And I said, you know what? I'm out of here. And I quit. Spot on scene, and I haven't looked back. Okay. At the time, I only had 10 clients, and one of them was one of my old teachers that actually, the first job I had, Mrs. Kennedy, she actually passed away from cancer. And I recently, last year, her husband sold their house and moved into like senior living place and stuff like that. But they actually put me into a tight knit, high end community with multiple, like there's, I don't know, in this one community, like 100 homes.
Oh, wow.
In there, it's called Eagle View. And my name spread like wildfire through there. And now in that neighborhood, I have 18 mowing clients, and then there's 10 more additional landscaping clients in that neighborhood. Now, fast forward to today, I'm up to 50 some odd mowing clients, and then additional 35 landscape tree trimming clients and stuff like that. So that's a quick indication of where I'm at. I'm sure you have a lot of questions. So,
oh yeah, Greg, what do you got?
So I'm sorry, you said 50 mowing clients?
Yes.
Okay. And then 35 tree trimming, shrubs and stuff.
Yep.
Okay. All right. And so what do you prefer to do? Do you like to do the trimming, or do you like to do the mowing, or do you have a favorite? Or tell us a little bit about some of the things that you're doing.
So my services are weekly mowing, mulching, hedge trimming, and I also do light tree trimming and light tree removal. I don't do the big stuff. I sub that out to a tree company that, I know.
Let's talk about that for a second. You said you're subbing that out. I'm kind of curious because I've had people talk to me about subbing things out. So when you say sub it out, are you saying, okay, I'll do the job, you hire the guys to do it, and then you keep a portion of it, or how does that work for you?
With me and my friend, we have an agreement that, we'll get if he gets the job, we'll mark the price, the price, and then I'll get, a kickback, or sometimes we sub it out. I don't always try to be the middleman because that way I'm staying out of it, but my hands are hey, I just, I like to try to do that because to me, less is more. Yeah. That's my philosophy. So,
well, part of the reason I ask that is because I've had people ask me about subbing some big jobs out. Like they want to do some landscaping, putting in rocks or just use that for example. Hey, let's put in some rocks, put in some new beds and stuff. Well, and they'll replace sprinklers, and they say, okay, you just sub that out and pay us. And then the problem is who's responsible if anything goes wrong. And that's why I was kind of asking. I wanted to know who would take the responsibility if something goes wrong.
Right. And that's why I try to stay out of it just in case, especially with big tree jobs and stuff like that. There's a lot more risk
Yeah.
to doing that than to doing a mulch job.
So
You
you're referring them, and then
Yeah.
they give you a couple $100 or whatever.
Yep. And that's
Okay.
that's pretty much it. And like there's
Okay.
I like to work it like that. So
Okay.
Well, listen to
but
Pat. That's pretty smart, Pat, because you're still making money on referring out those bigger tree jobs, right?
yeah, exactly. And like that way, like I can either get more work done. You know, there's been times where it's been the dead of winter and they don't have nothing to do, but I have this big old uprooted like pine tree that, you know, it'll take me 4 days with my equipment
Mm-hmm.
and it'll take them 2 hours.
Oh, they can
Right.
go through and rip it out, right?
Yeah.
Because I was doing it. It's funny that you talk about that, Pat. I was doing a hedge trimming job the other day, and this client wanted this tree taken down in their yard. I thought it was like a small little tree, and I said, I can do that. She goes, no, not that one. This one. I'm like, okay, I'm going to probably just take a picture and sub that out. So then try to get
Exactly.
some, you know, I guess icing off the top of that job, right? Or, you know, take a cut.
Yeah, like we had last year we had a big, was it last year? Yeah, we had a big ice storm come through and it knocked over this humongous pine tree in one of my clients' yard. And I do yearly, like the edge of their wood line, I trim that up every year. And I'm like, there's no way I'm going to be taking this tree down. I was already at a conference with my friend's company that he runs, and I'm like, Brandon, just take care of this. And he did. And he sent his guys out and we squared up, and that's that.
So you're talking about doing, okay, so you do work, you're in Pennsylvania and you're able to do some work year round. I mean, do you guys have any snow, like snow? Like what's because I mean, if you listen to our show long enough, Greg and I battle the snow and it's not always fun, is it?
Because you guys are in Michigan, correct?
Yep, Metro Detroit. So we get, I mean, Greg, you would probably argue we've gotten snow, but it hasn't been like we don't get, when was the last time we got a blizzard? It's been a while.
Last year was pretty soft. The year before we got a little bit more, and I think, well, it's funny because I had a good friend of mine that moved from Chicago up to the, if you know Michigan and all, up we call it up in the pinky instead of the thumb, because you look at Michigan looks like a hand,
Right.
So he's in the pinky area, and he moved up there. The first year he was up there, that was when we had record snowfall. And that was 10 years ago, maybe. I don't even know if it was that long ago. But then we've kind of trickled down a little bit over the past couple of years. We haven't as much snow as we usually do.
So going back to your question, we have a saying in the Northeast, especially here in Pennsylvania, where it can be like 65 degrees one day and then snowing the next. And it
Yep.
can be. We can get all 4 seasons in like a day.
Sounds like
I-
Michigan.
I saw, like, I did a lot of tree work in the wintertime to like subsidize my income, especially with having young children and all that. And I always wanted to get into like the light tree trimming and chipping and stuff like that. So I do have like a 65-inch, the 65XP Bandit chipper
Oh, wow.
that I tow with my little dump truck. And that thing has been a godsend with my my business for the winter. And I also have 4 snow accounts. And they're not big. So we do get we could get a bad winter, we could get a dry winter. We got hit like last year with snow in January for a little bit, but then it got really cold, and I was able to get a project that I'm continuing this winter. Just doing like light, like there's suckers and all that, and it's like it was a football field long, and I just took my chipper and my little dingo, and we just went to town. And it's pretty good. It works out. Sometimes I can get caught with my pants down, and I have when a freak snowstorm comes up, but it works out.
And
Oh,
that
the
gets
pants
cold.
down.
Yeah. And you get cold too in the winter when your pants are down.
Oh, I know. Of course.
So, well, that's interesting. That it sounds like you're just doing a ton of different things. And is this mostly the same clients then, or is this
It is.
picking up some? Okay.
It really is. Last year, in 2024, I actually had I wouldn't say a competitor, but an older gentleman that was cutting in Eagleview pretty much just gave me his client list because of my reputation. And, so that's, it bumped my numbers up. But a lot of my clients are continuous clients.
Okay.
And I always reach out to them like, hey, this can be done. This can be done. You know, I think that says a lot about my company. I wasn't always trying to get the bigger jobs. I'm okay with saying no. A lot of guys aren't. I don't have a problem with that. Because I don't want to do bad business, and also, you know, I don't want to be saying like, oh, I can do pressure washing. I don't do pressure washing, or I don't do hardscaping. I don't know that type of stuff. I don't have that equipment.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that goes further than saying yes. And I feel like that a lot of companies jump on that because they see, you know, not
Big bucks.
Yeah, big bucks, pretty much. They see like, they don't see the challenges. They see, yeah, like you said, Greg, big bucks. So.
Well, listen to what Pat's saying, guys, Greg, and it's interesting. It seems like he's very I mean, you've heard it from Greg and I back and forth for 134, 35 episodes now. But he's very methodical. Pat's very methodical with how he's planning his, I guess, his work and what he does with his business. And it's good to have a good reputation. I mean, Greg and I talk about it. Our best form of referrals we get is by doing a good job at lawn A, so then we can pick up lawn B, C, and D, you know, the neighbors and things like that. So you would start this business since 2008, and you kind of left the other job you're working, but you already had 10 lawns, right? So how'd you always, it's always fun to ask, like, how'd you break in for the truck and mowers game? Did you start with different mowers back in 08? Because I started this in 2010, and a lot has changed. The mower revolution has changed from what they even offered, you know, early 2000s to now. Everything is changing.
Crazy. So I actually started out with a Ford Ranger.
Oh yeah.
So, and I started out with a little the older X Marks, the HPs, 52-inch HP. Yes, I took out a loan. I was crazy of taking out a loan in my first year of business, but I'm a risk taker. And a little 5x10 trailer that barely even fit that, because I just said, hey, I need a trailer, and just quickly bought one, because it's one of my downfalls. Like, I'm always sometimes quick to jump on some stuff. So now I have 2 trucks, an open trailer, a chipper, and 2 hustlers. I run hustlers now. I have a hyperdrive and a little trim star, and that's what I have. So, and it's just me doing a lot of the work. Luckily, I have a brother that occasionally can help out. Last year, I did have my brother-in-law help out, and we actually split up. He ran the landscaping side because he didn't want to do grass cutting. I did the grass cutting because I don't mind it. So it worked out, but I'm okay with being, you know, a one guy in a truck. I know a lot of guys are like, oh, I need to grow. I'm like, at the end of the day, is it worth it? Because there's a lot more towards life than, you know, running a business and running it yourself into the ground and having a young family. I also ultimately need to be here as well. So if that answers your question, it
does. I'll kick this to you, Greg. It's funny, Greg. The best decision you made with your direction of in your life, Greg, was getting your own lawn care business, right? Like calling your own shots, like being your own boss.
Yeah, I worked in corporate world for 35 years, and when I was out of work at one point, I just started. I helped Evan out. We've shared this before on the show, and as I was doing it, I just said, you know what, I can do this because because I used to work at the Country Club of Lansing, and
I used to work at the Country Club of Lansing when I was in college.
yeah, but no, I already knew how to cut, so it was the opportunity that I saw that I could do, and I'm making more money than I made in my old job, and I'm enjoying it a whole lot more. Although I just had a phone call from a guy that let me go at the beginning of the season here because he wanted to save money. He just texted me the other day and said his lawn guys kind of suck, as his words. And he asked me to quote him again. So I gave him my quote, and he tried to haggle me down, and I've got to reply back to him and say, no, this is my quote. And this is what I'm charging. And I'm sorry, I can't help you if you're not going to take the numbers. So, but it's nice because I can do that, and I don't have a boss, breathing down my neck saying, no, you got to take that job. So no, I don't have to take that job. And it's an extra hour in my day to take that job that and I'm not going to make enough money to do it. So.
Yeah, I had a client like that a couple years ago when everything was like bumping up, but it was like that weird time in like 2022 and 2021. And it was like 3 accounts. And when everything was jacking up with the pricing and all that, I had to, before we even started cutting, I shot him a message. I was like, hey, these are your new prices. Yes, I did this, but unfortunately with everything going up, I'm not going to sell myself short. You can't sell yourself short because, it trickles down to everything.
We had 9% inflation 1 year.
Yeah.
And I'm not eating that. And,
no.
I'm sorry, but, I've got they're saying I've got a family, I've got bills to pay, and so do I.
Yeah.
And, so I just, I raise my prices based on inflation. And just a little bit more because, I don't know what's going to happen with fuel prices. I don't know what's going to happen if, inflation could be at 2.3 1 month, and then the next month it could be at 4. Now, that's a big jump, but I've got to also cover myself for that. But no, you're doing it right by just telling. You have to be able to say no once in a while, and it helps keep a little sanity in your life as well.
Oh yeah, you need it in this industry because it can drive you crazy.
I know about being driven crazy with the lawn and landscape business and mowing way too much, Pat. So we all have struggles and issues and trials we go through in our businesses. Everyone does. It talks about, in God's word, when like the Lord chose Moses and he said, I want you to speak and represent, God's people. And Moses is like, why me? He basically said, no, Lord, not me. I have a stutter. I'm not eloquent. And he said, no, I'll be with your mouth and go. So how was some of your struggles that you had with like reading and stuff like defined and shaped your business? Because you've clearly found success. And I think this is quite a compelling and awesome story. And it's a great chance for you to tell everyone that it doesn't matter. Like anyone can do it. You can go in there and work hard.
It doesn't matter. You have to, I listen to this guy, David Goggins, and he's like, embrace the suck.
Oh yeah. Yep.
You have to. And like my wife constantly reads my emails like, hey, what does this say? Like, I don't have a problem. You know what I mean? I didn't, have a problem with like a client, and I kind of like raised my tone because he kind of like hit that number one time and was like, hey, do you even read? I'm like, well, I can't.
Yeah.
And then his jaw dropped and I was like, listen, I tell my clients this, if it's very important, call me. If it's something that, is like a one, you don't have to send me a paragraph. If it's just like, hey, can you do this? Gotcha. I can do that. That's like kind of like my protocol to my clients. But I don't let it define me. Like if that answers your question, and I don't have a problem asking for help with that. And it's kind of funny when my 7-year-old son was like, Dad, I can read better than you. I'm like, yes, you can, and I'm proud of you.
There's nothing wrong with that, right? But it sounds like none of this, the issues what you had with reading, you sent me an email. I was able to read it just fine. I I don't even have the best reading or writing either. I can't do math. You even said, Patrick, that you're kind of good with the there's other skills that you've excelled in too with like math. And Greg, you know my math skills aren't very good. I tried doing basic stuff in my head. I'm not very good.
Just round it to tens.
Yep.
When in doubt.
And also, I have a cheat with the iPhone. Speech to text is like amazing.
Yeah.
I use it all the time.
Although once I sent somebody a text and somehow salamanders and some other things got in there, and the guy replied back to me and said, "What?"
Yeah.
And I looked back at my text, and it seemingly made up words as I went. So gotta make sure you read it beforehand, right?
I had that sometimes with my clients too. I'm like, oh, sorry. Well, wrong thing to say.
All right. So you started out doing the mowing then, or did you start out doing the tree?
I started out doing the mowing, and then I got into landscaping. I had the open trailer, went to an enclosed trailer, and then I got a dump trailer. Then I got like this older dump truck. I got a 1990 F Super Duty dump truck. This thing was a tank.
Hmm.
And I just got rid of it in 2020 in the last 5 years. And then I picked up a nicer, newer dump truck. But I always did the landscape and mowing. But in 2020, I started doing like my own thing in the wintertime, doing the tree trimming. And that's been really successful in that. So I tried to have like a nice little mixture, but stay in my lane type deal. So if that answers your question of when I started, because in 2008 with mowing and doing like mulch jobs and stuff like that.
Yeah. See, my rule is a day and a half. If a job is going to take me more than a day and a half, at my estimate, I don't take it. And I just say, look, it's too much for me. If it's going to take me more than a day and a half, if I'm going to have to do this over 3 weekends, that third weekend, you're just going to get mad at me. And because I'm still there. And so I kind of make that my rule and it lets me say, okay, I accomplished something. I'm done. And I can move on to the next project. So it's not going to be that thing hanging over me. And then if we get rained out, gee, how often do we get rained out? Right.
Exactly.
Then now I started a job and we've had 2 days of rain for the last 3 weeks, every week. Now that job that was supposed to be a day and a half is now sticking out 6 weeks. So
a lot of my clients are in like an 8 mile to 10 mile radius. I route density over the years, and where it's like, there's some clients I don't even take across the road. I'm like, I just stick to that route. I'm very structured in that route. And a lot of my properties are all like little cookie cutter properties and stuff like that. So that helps me out in time and stuff like that. And where my shop is located is right next to my mulch distribution. So I can just drive down the road, pick up the mulch, and go on my merry way. So I try to keep it really a tight radius of clients and stuff like that.
So those trees and stuff, those things that you're chipping up, do you use that as mulch as well for other clients, or what do you do? Do you just take it and dump it somewhere else? You don't want to get caught with stuff.
I just take it and dump it. I don't want to get caught with anything.
Yeah.
I just
dump 5 yards of mulch on someone's yard. Be like, here you go, bye from the tree. Here. See you later.
Well, when I had my trees trimmed, the guy said, well, I can haul it away or I can mulch it up and leave it here for you. And I said, 10 yards of mulch, I'll take that. And, and if they were diseased, then it was my own disease anyway. So I might as well just spread it out.
Right. Then there are some clients who, I did a bamboo shipping job, and bamboo is actually illegal to dispose of because of how invasive they are. So I chipped everything on site. I literally just put my chipper at the chute at a 45-degree angle and just went to town for 3 solid days. And Those are the nice jobs where you can just set up the dingo with the hitch plate attachment that I have and just tow it behind, take your ground saw and just go to town.
So actually, that's interesting. So all you did was you chopped up the bamboo on their yard and just left it there.
Yep, and I just leveled it out with my dingo and a pitchfork.
So did that all start to grow again then, or what?
It is growing again. It's
Well, at least you got another job coming.
There are companies out this way, but it's super expensive that you can literally get rid of it. I don't have that capability, but they just wanted to get it cut back, and it's holding, but there are like spores out there. You can spray it, but you have to keep up with it. In February, you have to start. That one of my arborist friends told me that I can do. So, yeah.
Did you know that about bamboo, Evan?
Not really. I knew he was kind of invasive. There was something like bamboo that we have up here, Greg. I think it's called like Phragmite or something like that. It's a type of cattail. My parents on Goldsmith on my parents' street, there was one sub next to it, that one street next to it, and they had this retention pond, and they had this like Phragmite weeds that are always the type of cattails that it was invasive, and you couldn't like get rid of it. But yeah, bamboo, that sticks around for a long time, doesn't it? What's your opinion though, Pat? You said that you're running the Hustler mowers. As we got about 5 minutes left there. What's your opinion on the Hustlers? I've never ran them. I've really never mowed with the one. I see some guys like them. I mean, what's Pat Ferry's take on it?
I like them. I have an older Turf Tracer that is like almost 20 years old.
Wow.
But I have a brand new engine on it. Then I have the Hyperdrive with the 39 horse Kawasaki engine.
Oh, wow.
And I love that thing. Yeah. I actually ordered that thing when all the stock was like down for like ordering stuff. You couldn't order it. And I got it like in 2023, like 2 days before Christmas. I'm like, yay, a payment and a brand new mower. Let's go.
Yeah.
But I love them. The only downside to my Hyperdrive is the brake system is awful on it. I don't like the emergency brake system. There's some times where I have to ride the mower on the deck to get it up. Some like where my hills are, especially my HOA property that I have to mow. It's on a hill. Because I actually took the safety off, the seat safety, because it's air ride suspension. And
there you go, guys.
I weighed like 150 pounds, and I was hitting the emergency stop button every bump.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. We had demoed a still mower recently. It was a big still riding mower, not like 170 pounds, and I had to sit there and like slouch to get it so it would stay on. I was trying to adjust the deck with my foot, and it kept shutting off. It was kind of getting annoying. It's like, okay, I'll just go back to a standard. You can do what Pat says. I know a lot of guys in the industry do that. It's kind of like the unwritten rule, isn't it? So
yeah, it's an unwritten rule. It's just a tripwire, but yeah, it's an unwritten rule, and just don't cut your foot off, guys.
No, that's the scary part.
I love that machine, especially with the Bauer Gold blades, the high lift ones that I run. It cuts flush. And
I was gonna say, how's it cut?
I love it. I was always taught by having really good small engine mechanics get the high horsepower engine, because it's not about the speed. It's about the velocity that the wheels underneath, like the pulleys and all that, can spin the blades. So that way you're kicking all that grass out, so you're not clumping up the yards as much. So that's why I went with the higher horsepower, and it's carbureted. I'm not a real big fan of the EFI fuel injected. I hear horror stories from small engine mechanics where it's like
rut row.
Yeah. So to me, running a lean, mean, basic mower is key. So if that
Those
answers your
carbureted engines, they drink. I have an EFI with the Multiforce. So far, so good. It's running fine, but I hear when there is some problems with the EFIs, it's kind of more difficult to figure out.
diagnose. And my one friend who I actually run with is my small engine mechanic. And
Perfect.
he was telling me, he was like, dude, just the box alone to diagnose these new engines is like $500 his cost to diagnose the problem, because they're all going to the computer.
Well,
Which-
holy smokes, right, Greg?
Yeah.
You can say holy smokes for that, but all right,
Yeah.
Greg, hit him on with some final questions here.
Well, now these are riders. You said you have two of them. One's a standard or a walk behind, and the other one's a rider.
Correct.
Is that right? Okay.
Yes.
All right.
And
I've got a turf tracer. What size deck?
I have a 48 and a 60. The
Okay.
48 has the pro slide on, the pro slide on it. And I like that. It does bog it down a little bit on like hills. So I tend to walk that. But on the straightaways, it's,
As opposed to that pro slide, I saw that. So is that you get a better? You don't get the lines that you get with wheels on your on the sulky.
correct.
And it gets a much better look.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And then you said the Ballard, you got those Ballard blades. Talk about those a little bit, because I know a couple of guys have talked about those. And so you're not sharp. You don't have to sharpen them. You don't have to do anything.
I sharpen my policy for myself. I sharpen every time the mower goes out. Like in the morning or in the afternoon, I have the RBG blade grind.
712. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
RBG. Pat,
Well-
I already like you, man. Listen to what this guy's saying. You sharpen more than me, and I thought I sharpened a lot, right, Greg?
I like to keep a sharp blade. My really good friend Dan, who runs fertilizing company out here, who I work with as well. We are in the same page. Like if you have a sharp blade and if you cut the blade of the grass and if you serrate that edge of that blade, you're opening up for disease. And a lot of guys, especially this time of year where it's like hot, humidity, there's thunderstorms, and it's going a little bit dormant, you still want to keep that deck height high anyway, keep your blades even sharper, so you're not potentially opening up your lawns for disease, especially the fertilizer yards. So yeah, that's what
I
I
didn't
do.
think you could cut. I didn't know that you could sharpen those gold blades.
I didn't know you couldn't. I do, and
Okay.
yeah, I really like them. I do have them on both my Turf Tracer and the Hyperdrive, and then I also have the mulching blades from Ballard too. How I run that in the fall is I do 2 mulching blades in the far left, and then the discharge side I do a high lift, so I can kick all that the leaves out, because I don't have a leaf loader. I have a tarp and my dump truck. I'm not spending $10,000 on a leaf vac system for 3.5 weeks worth of leaf collection anymore.
That's true. Sometimes, Greg, the old school way is the way to do it, isn't it? It's efficient. It's the most low cost. You're still making money.
Yeah. And Evan and I, we didn't even spend that. We've got the side catchers, and that's what we put on ours, and that's the Ballard stuff that we have. But
How do you like those side catchers?
I like the Ballard side catch. I mean, it's like the accelerator. I mean, it's like the same, but at least ours. I mean, Greg has the better version of the side catcher than I do. Ballard released the side catcher, like the first one. I bought that. Then a couple months later, they released the second version. Greg got it. Greg's is far nicer, but for what we're doing, it's working out just fine. Honestly,
It's awesome.
with the side catcher, just take smaller swipes at it, and you can get that. I can get that thing full every time. It's because
Okay.
guys, they try to run over like a big pile. It's like that's not how it works. You just slowly just swipe around it. I get that thing full all the way. So that's one product from Ballard that I like, that side catch.
I would not probably get, because Evan and I talked about this a little bit, is that extension that you could put on that thing. But I mean, when that thing is full, it's what, 40
heavy.
pounds, Evan? Do you think? Yeah, it's
Oh,
heavy.
yeah. I mean, without the extension, it lays 30, 40 pounds. So imagine with the
Yeah.
extension, what, an extra foot or two? I
Yeah.
mean, where are you going to put that? You just have to dump it into a tarp and then haul it over on your truck or something like that. And I think you couldn't even fill up the entire extension. Like, give me some leaves that are like a little bit wet and then try to use that thing. It'll just be bogging down.
Right.
But yeah, that's
That would get a little heavy. I don't know anybody that uses it, but I'd be curious to see if guys are kind of using that. Let us know, guys, if you're listening, if you use that extension on that thing. So, but yeah, I just said that thing's just too heavy. I couldn't handle that. So, but as it is, what I do is, if I'm bagging it, I'll have the bag set up and I just kind of pull out the first couple, I'll pull out a few scoops of leaves, throw those in the bag, and then I'll pick up the thing. But I can't imagine that thing having all the other stuff,
Right, all
that extension on there.
Yeah, all the sticks and all that, especially if it rains. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I do have a question for you guys because I was listening to a podcast like a couple of days ago about the enclosed and open trailer conversation, and like I'm actually an open trailer fan. I actually got a SureTrack 7x12 but tandem axle with the heavy duty gate on it, so it's a 10,000 pound trailer. That's what I like, because I did run the enclosed trailer for a while, but what I found over the years that, especially this time of year, your engines get hotter and they don't get a chance to cool down and stuff like that. Do you guys have that problem with your, with running the enclosed trailers and stuff like that?
Well, I recently I installed a roof vent in my enclosed trailer, and that trailer can get to be a hot box, Greg. I mean, when we're baking out there in the summer and all the walls are kind of like that aluminum, what Tony did with Tony's Lawn Care Talk podcast, he actually insulated the walls to help kind of mitigate the Dutch oven that can turn into with the trailers. But my engine mower seems to be handling the enclosed trailer okay, Greg. I mean, what about yours?
I haven't noticed anything where that's an issue. I keep my trailer open for the most part though, so it doesn't have a chance to get too hot, and I'm going to the next job and I don't think it has a chance to get that hot inside there. So
Right.
I don't know. I just like it because I'm protecting my equipment. I can't store mine on my yard or in my
Right.
drive. So I have to take it somewhere. So that's the reason why I got the enclosed trailer. And I've got the side door. I lock that, got a lock on that. And the back doors, I didn't even lock those because I back it up to a giant brick wall, and I'm 3 inches away from that wall, so nobody's getting in the back of that thing. And,
There you go.
yeah. So, but I haven't noticed any issue with the mowers getting that hot. So, interesting question. I don't know if guys are seeing that or not, if they're concerned. But
Yeah,
I thought you said you had an enclosed trailer as well, though.
I got rid of that and went back to the open trailer.
Okay.
I did that in 2018 because I wanted to I always have like a little bit of a fail safe. That's why I have 2 trucks. I have a little beater car that I run around with, just in case I had to haul like debris and stuff like that. And, my enclosed trailer, like it was falling apart. It was almost 10 years old. So it was starting to nickel and dime me with maintenance and stuff like that. And this open trailer just greased the bearings. I just replaced the tires, and I've, electric brakes on it because it's tandem axle trailer. So I have, not beating up on any of my trucks or anything like that because that's one of my things. So,
Yeah. What are you driving? What are your trucks?
so I just got a 2017 F-250 that replaced my 2006 F-250. That was my first big purchase in 2010. I just got rid of this truck. Had 230,000 miles on it. It was rusted out. I actually sold the bed to my shop neighbor where I keep all my stuff, and I actually donate it to my local fire company for a tax write-off. So I drive that. That's just a basic truck. It has no bells and whistles. It doesn't even have automatic windows. It has roll-up windows on it. It's 2017. I love it. And then I also have a 2016 F350 Power Stroke dump truck.
Okay.
And I don't plow with that one. This week I'm actually buying a Western straight plate for the new F250. So that's what I'm grabbing.
Yeah. All right. Well, Pat, I want to thank you for coming on the show, for reaching out to us, and for
Thank you for having me.
We'll send you some Turf Nerd stickers.
Oh, yeah.
And,
if someone wants a
love it.
sticker, it's
Yeah.
Turf Nerds Podcast at proton.me. But if you want to start this, it'll be a series once a month called From the Field, Real Lawn Care Talk. Pat, you let it off. I think it was a really interesting and it's fun show. And it's good to hear other perspectives. Greg and I can drone. It's always good to hear different perspectives. We got listeners out there. Hey guys, what are you running? What's your story? And you can hop on. But Pat, thanks again, man.